All right. That should be it. Welcome to this 52 Miniatures live stream. It's a Tuesday morning in Sweden, and I believe this is live stream 38. For some reason, my camera is showing you not so much my face as stuff down here, but there we are. I should probably fix that. Sorry about that. Better. No, it's just this thing. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. We're back to another live stream of Kitbashing Weird World War I miniatures. Good morning, Felix. How are you doing? I hope you're well. We're kind of going to just keep on going with what we were working on before, which is, look, there's coffee. Made this fella. Last stream, I just gave him some straps for this lovely shrine off camera after the stream, but otherwise this is what we did last stream. I figured today I want to make some more sort of people with guns. Why not? Morning, Shimbul, and Felix is doing okay. My colleague got sick, and now it's up to you to fix things. See, that's really annoying when it happens to me because there's no one around to fix it. There's just me. I made myself a box for this little project. And I've been sent some more sprue. Last stream, we were talking about the fact that I was using these Wargames Atlantic kits because they've got some First World War kits. I've got the British and the German. But I also got some medieval peasants and conquistadors, which is a bit weird. Whoops. The thing with these kits is that they kind of fit each other because they're all made by the same producer and they're all sort of made out of hard plastic, which kind of makes it nice and easy to work with and kitbash. I've also printed things, which since the last stream I put in little lovely boxes. This is 3D printed things, arms and heads and stuff. They also recently sent me, I got these in the post like 2 days after the last stream because I was asking for, initially Wargames Atlantic have had, they've got digital files as well, so stuff you can print on your 3D printer. And they had something called like the Weird World War I kit, which is like bits that you could use 3D print to kitbash stuff. And then I was going to download it and it was gone. And I asked why, and they said because we were making hard plastic sprue out of it. This hasn't yet been released. They sent it to me to just have a look at. It hasn't got all the bits that were in that original 3D printing thing, but this is for the sprue is called Weird War I conversion parts. There's also a lot of slugs and rats, as you can see, but we also got some cool helmets and some alternative weapons, but it's mainly about rats. But there's some cool heads there that can be used. Hello, Phil. How are you doing? I hope you're well. So what I wanted to do today to start with, I think, is use some of these peasants. I actually think, or what I did last stream as well is building this shrine on the back from Stormcast bits. I don't know if you can see it, but that frame is made out of Liberator hammers. So, you know, I've got old Stormcast bits, but this is the British sprue, and here's some peasants sprue. I was thinking I should today maybe do because this is a British World War I soldier's body with alternative head and arms. I was thinking today I was going to try to do the other way around. So I'm going to take a peasant's, medieval peasant's body, and then like give it gas masks and backpacks and pouches and stuff. I actually found this lying around. There wasn't much left in it for some reason. I had this. It was almost empty. So this is a 1/35th scale World War II Germans. So the scale doesn't work, and there was hardly anything in there apart from some sprue with lots of pouches. These obviously the scale is wrong, but I mean, as pouches go, this could be just, you know, larger pouches or really big bags and stuff. There's also some kind of like sleeping bag things over there. And as this is a weird war, I'm not really going specifically. Well, specifically is sort of, I've got, you can see a bit of it here, a game called A War Transformed, which is a alternative First World War setting with magic and witches and folklore stuff. But I'm kind of just trying to go generically weird World War One. I am, you know, so it could be Trench Crusade or stuff like that. I'm kind of a little bit staying away from the Trench Crusade has this very Christian base thing going, like heaven and hell and crosses and you know, Pax Vobiscum stuff. So kind of staying away from that because just because I like my fantasy weirder than just ripping off the Spanish Inquisition. Anyway, where am I going with this? So I'm not doing many crosses and stuff like that, but otherwise it's just doing things that look like it's from a Weird World War One that should work for any Weird World War One game. Okay. Daniel, how are you doing? One thing I love about Wargames Atlantic is that they include enough heads for you to give it to each of the models in the kit. Yes. And hello, Jamie. On the tram to the brave new world. Congratulations. Yeah, you're quite right, Daniel. If you're used to sort of Warhammer kits and stuff like that, usually your sprue will, you know, build very specifically. If you have 5 torsos, you'll have 5 sets of legs, and you'll have 5 helmets and heads, and 5 sets of weapons. And, you know, so just the plastic you buy, you need to kind of use all of it to make 5 troops. Usually with historical kits, I find, not only Wargames Atlantic, you get options. So, for instance, this one sprue makes 5 troops. So there's only 5 bodies, but there's 5 heads with that kind of helmet, 5 heads with the cap. There's 5 heads with like the safari cap. There's 5 heads with what we're used to kind of seeing from the First World War kind of helmet, and there's 5 heads with gas masks. There's also different options for arms, as in they holding the rifle. Is the rifle slung over the shoulder? I guess the revolver is probably for your little troop captain, whatever. But yeah, so each sprue can really make a lot of different style models, which is kind of cool. Hello again, Richard. Good morning. Been looking forward to catching the stream again. Well, it's nice to be able to be here and read that. I'm really going to try and do this regularly. It's not the kind of thing I should be saying in advance in case things don't work out. But hopefully every Tuesday at this time, whatever time it is in your part of the world, I'll be streaming. And at least for the foreseeable future, it'll be just doing this, because I need to get an army together, kind of. Just clipping out random peasants' legs here. Whoops. Clipping off a lot of fabric, sorry. And so, this is last stream. There was just the 1 miniature kit bashed. I'm going for 2 this time. And obviously, if I'm going to do an entire army, then you'll be probably bored by stream number 16, but go somewhere else then. Phil says the Shrine of Hammers sounds like my dad's workshop. Well, I mean, I'll change the lens here. For those that haven't seen it, you can see it a bit more closely. Yeah. Doesn't really look like hammers in retrospect, but I've got all this old Stormcast sprue. I obviously used swords for my liberators, so all the hammers were around. And so why not use it for something else? The head is 3D printed. So it's like a shrine or something this fellow's carrying around. The head is 3D printed and is from Saint Decent over on My Mini Factory. She does some very cool heads and miniatures as well. Okay. So I've got two little bodies here. You can see the War Games Atlantic have these little mini plastic toy soldier bases already attached, which is not really going to work out for me. So I'm gluing them onto these 25mm round bases. Gives me a bit of a bump that kind of need to fill in with green stuff or something later on around the base. I could try and snip it off and just glue the feet on, but this is just, it's nice and simple and sturdy from the start and not fiddling around too much on stream. Oh no, I have done a fatal error. If there's one tool I need, it's my little snap blade knife, and I don't know where I put it. I'm gonna go have a look for that. I've got a big one here, but there's a small one. Always be prepared before the live stream. I can show you a funny little, I made a thingy. Let's see if I can, this won't actually be quite true as I'm not getting coffee, but you know. And I'm back. If anyone can figure out where I semi-ripped that little quote off, you get 10 points and a pat on the back. It's originally not about coffee. Oliver Hilt, good morning. And Robin, welcome. Phil says, but no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. This is true. Everyone expects murderous First World War peasant, don't they? So from last stream, there was a stroke of genius happening last stream. As I said, this is using the British kit. I'm also eventually getting to the German kit. Maybe look at that next stream or whatever. We'll see. And you know, I need some kind of a theme for everything. Originally, my plan was then to use the conquistadors. These fine-looking fellas. Use those bits to kitbash the Germans. I thought that might be a fun little mix. We'll see how that works out. I haven't actually looked much at the sprue, so you know the entire idea might get shelved. But the little stroke of genius during the last stream was the fact that one of the games I'm intending this for is a game called War Transformed, which takes place sort of a little bit, I guess, after the First World War, or during the First World War anyway, kind of at the end. But the things happen. The meteorite strikes the moon, and magic leaks out into the world, and old gods return, and all this kind of stuff. But it also changes tides and water and everything. And what's called the Doggerland which is kind of, if you draw a line sort of from Denmark, Belgium-ish, straight up to sort of England, Scotland, that direction. There's a place called the Doggerland, which is underwater. But originally it wasn't underwater, like way back. So a lot of it illustrations of in the book, because now the oceans have changed, so the water is receded and it's a new battleground. This old sea floor is where the battle is happening. So in the art, there's things like mammoth skeletons and stuff like that, just because way back when, then mammoths roamed the Doggerland. But we realized with the conquistadors that during, what did we say, Elizabeth I, there was the Spanish Armada that sailed from Spain, and they were going to whack the English in the head, probably because of something of what Elizabeth I's dad did or whatever. I actually don't know. And didn't really go well for them, and well, they lost. But we figured there should be tons of sunken Spanish ships all over the place. And so obviously these German troops that are out in the middle of nowhere, and they're getting no supplies, and kind of left to their own devices, find these well-preserved conquistadorian outfits and go, hallelujah, we're saved. We can now dress up in puffy pants and old rusty metallic chest plates and go on fighting. Pagan Crew is just having coffee from a Moomin cup. What are the chances? Phil says, I'm a coffee heretic. I should be drinking tea. And you're quite right, Phil. My day is divided into when I consume tea or when I consume coffee, and usually between 9 in the morning, and 12 I consume coffee. Before that and after that I consume tea. Hello, Svensson Schönhage. Good morning. And good morning, William. Hello, Michael. We'll see how long I can get away with watching this at work. Plus a lot of buffering. Is my internet slow or your internet slow? Who knows? I know at least that I get to see what you write in the chat about half an hour after the fact that you've written it. Yeah, the internet thing is looking a bit weird. I'm sorry about that. It's not really anything I can do about that at the moment. It's not my internet. Daniel says, if you donate blood in Norway, you get a small gift. Most people choose a moving cup. That's nice. Can you get Warhammer? There'd be like no end to the donations. So what's people doing for their own hobby? Is it just me sitting here doing the kit bashing? Everyone else is just not doing their job properly? Oh no, darn it. I've got 2 legs and we've got torsos. I need to see how these rifles fit on the torsos. It looks like we might be doing might not be a perfect fit. We shall see. I need rifles. Or arms and rifles. So all of these miniatures are, I guess, what we would call true scale, which is kind of the norm for historical miniatures, and kind of not the norm for fantasy and sci-fi. So that means nothing is kind of exaggerated. Heads and hands and stuff like that is all in proportion. It's just supposed to look like small people. Whereas usually if you look at fantasy or sci-fi, they're often sculpted in a way it's called heroic scale, which means that often heads and hands and stuff like that is not actually proportionate, as in things are usually, heads are usually a bit larger, hands are larger. I actually don't really know the original, the original reasons for this. One thing is obviously how things were sculpted and transferred and molded and things like that. But then again, historical miniatures have been around probably for longer than fantasy miniatures, and I'm sure that historical crowd were doing fine. So it's obviously an aesthetic, but also it's got to do with how things are made, and I guess in a way how incompetent you can start out being as a sculptor and still keep sculpting, which is maybe the fact at a point in time long ago. But it's created a look. Obviously, most sort of things that we're used to seeing that are fantasy, like orcs and goblins and stuff like that, is just the entire style of them is, heroic style. Like we kind of be weird to see an orc or a goblin that has hands and heads that are actually sort of proportionately scaled. It's just become a part of how things look. Kirai says, right now it's work, but at home I'm continuing to paint my resistance fleet for Drop Fleet Commander. Also got a starter kit of Moonstone that needs to get painted. Nice to hear it. Moonstone is cool. I've painted a bit of Moonstone and then not quite doing anything right now. Right now I'm painting Infinity again. They're all over there. That's why I'm looking that way. Kind of in the midst of making a video sort of titled How to Start Painting Infinity. It's really, really basic. I hope it's going to be basic about getting simple paint on miniatures. Obviously, the theme is then Infinity because it is sponsored by Corvus Belli. But it's also people not always used to Infinity as well is true scale and lots of little details, and people look at them and go, that's going to be tricky to paint. And so I just want to make a video showing what things you can do that might make things a little bit simpler. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Working on that anyway. I think this is the wrong. So the downside with having all these arms and hands is you don't really know what fits. That obviously is maybe that's a bit of a mismatch there. So I don't really, trying to find the right hand. That's not obviously working out. Which one could it be? Daniel is painting trenches for the local gaming club. Cool. Good morning, Scott. How are you doing? Andy says, forgot that this stream starts at 10. I'll be watching from the start at ×2 speed. It should catch up in about 30 minutes. Good luck, Anders. I don't think much of importance has been said. So, you can just stick around. It should be fine. Okay, so that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Is that going to work? Maybe. No, I think maybe that's going to work. Let's try that one. So the benefit is you get options. The downside is your options don't really tell you anything. Nope. That's the wrong one. Okay. I'll just have to snip them all off, I guess, until I find the right one. Does anyone have a trick for this? Phil is hobbying, putting hot glue on the dead tree armatures I twisted last night. Does that work well, doing hot glue? No. That's the wrong one. This is silly. That's not going to work. No. No. Maybe. Daniel asks, are you still making things for Stargrave? Not currently. I have a tendency to get sidetracked. I guess it's also the curse of... Oh, come on. I just want the right arm. Wow, I watched this live stream today, and there's this guy just snapping arms off of sprue and never getting things right. It was really interesting. Yeah. I'm not really doing anything for Stargrave. I get distracted easily. I played a little bit of Stargrave, and then I started looking. Okay, I think this is all the arms. One of these arms should fit. So I started looking at, because Stargrave was kind of the first game that was miniature agnostic, which made me quite starstruck. Is that a winner? Was that a winner? It's not a winner. What's the point? How is this? I don't get it. I've got all the arms here, and this is not... Is it because it's the wrong torso? No. Or is it that one? That looks really weird. No, that's for a rifle. Sorry about this, folks, but this was tougher than I thought. Is it that one? Maybe. There was more arms. But yeah, I get distracted with other games. I see a game and I go, wow, this has got to be the best game ever. And then okay, maybe I'm just being stupid. Ah, okay, I'm just being stupid. But it looks because I've found two arms that kind of fit. See, that one goes like that. But then I found arms that do this, which is, I guess, fine. I was just imagining that arm should be further out like that. But the only ones I find that fit hold the gun like that. I guess we'll have to do that then. Okay. Look, lots of little arms. So yeah, distraction happens, and I get turned on to other games, but also it's the sort of content creator curse, which is essentially just doing new things all the time. I find it really difficult to just paint miniatures. Like today's video, I'll be painting miniature number 6 for Stargrave. In today's video, I'll be painting miniature number 10 for Stargrave. I have a really hard time doing that kind of a video. And so a reason why, for example, this is ending up in a live stream of me just kitbashing these, and you look at me doing boring things with arms, is because a project like this would be difficult to get into video format, like kitbashing an entire army. I'm not going to do that. And doing 3 videos on me kitbashing an army would get boring. Good morning, Mantas. Started building Cursed City minis this weekend. I got to say, it's been a while. I hope you're enjoying yourself, Mantas. Phil says, I use my dry palette to organize the parts for each trooper when assembling a unit. Yes. I mean, I'm organizing now. It's just being done live. Felix says, I got my 0.2 nozzle for my FDM printer. After lunch, I'll do a first try for a miniature. What printer have you got? I really should get a FDM printer. I'd like to be able to print some larger terrain pieces and stuff like that. I just really can't invest in that right now, I don't think. Christopher Taylor says, hey, dude, love your content at work, so I'm not sure how long I'll be around. Well, I appreciate it, Christopher. Thank you for letting me know. Phil says, Infinity is pretty much the best game ever for me, but these World War I weird games are way better for kit bashing fun. Indeed. I'm not, as previously mentioned with Stargrave is as well, that a reason for not doing more Stargrave and jumping around with other games is just that sort of games can inspire me to just keep on doing the hobby. Like, I don't need to dig down and only do like, okay, so I did Warhammer 40k as a kid, so now I'm going to keep on doing Warhammer 40k, and that's going to be it. I can, like, who knows if I ever will play a War Transformed, but it keeps me making miniatures and building terrain and painting miniatures and just having fun in the hobby. And I'm in no rush to like play the game. The game is like an excuse to just keep going on the hobby. And then there's other games that I just like to play where maybe miniatures come secondhand, which is just kind of wish I could just dip miniatures in contrast paint and just use to play the game. And not care too much about these sides. So I kind of use games differently as ways of inspiration to keep my interest in the hobby. As Phil said, I played Infinity and it felt like one of the more fun games I've played. You know, the entry level on a rules side of things is a little bit steep. But just the way it played felt like a lot of fun. But, you know, this is just a different thing. I think someone asked as well is like, does Infinity not lend well for kit bashing? And no, not really. Of course you can. One thing is it's mainly metal miniatures. So you're in for a bit of a hassle there, at least compared to plastic. Secondly, the sculpts are pretty tight. So it's like they've all got really like cool poses and stuff like that, which means that parts of them are, I don't know, you can't really snip an arm off and put it on another miniature because it's so integrated. It's of course possible, but it's not at all the same kind of thing as this. Hello, Adrian. How are you doing? I knew there was something I was forgetting. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. By the way, I remember this now that Adrian is here. If you're in the stream, please press the like button because of YouTube, essentially. It's not because of my ego. It's just that if people don't interact with the stream, you know, you just enter and just have it on and don't, you know, which is fine. But if you don't press like and don't write things in the chat and blah, 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 then YouTube will be like, well, they're not really interested. And then they don't actually share it. I bet you 75% or more of my subscribers haven't even got a notification of the fact that I'm live because, you know, it doesn't seem interesting. And so YouTube won't premiere it. And pressing the like button hopefully helps a little bit. I still have people that don't know that, you know, the whole subscription thing doesn't really work anymore. So there's tons of, I've got 80,000 subscribers, but that doesn't really matter much anymore. Lots of people write me and go like, why haven't you released videos in so long? And I'm like, well, just check your subscriptions page instead of your home page, and you might see that I have in fact been releasing videos every other week for the past 3 years. But yeah, it's a thing. I recently saw stats from YouTube that said that pretty much 90% of all the viewers on my channel watch, like they click on the video from the home screen, and about 7% click on the video from the subscriptions screen, which essentially means that a lot of people are just watching what YouTube recommends them and not what they're subscribed to, I guess. Okay, we've got kind of like a peasant with a gun shooting a really short person over here, which is fine, you know. Should let that set for a little bit and find a gun for the other peasant. Felix says, any tips on a game to best start the hobby with kids? My little one is 5 and the big one is 10. Also, I never played any war game. Warstone, Moonstone, as mentioned. Could be a cool thing to check out. The miniatures are more sort of fun. Also, it's not necessarily about killing each other. It's kind of funny, the whole wargaming thing. We just we're just naturally inclined to feel that it's okay to play games which is about just killing lots of people, where in fact lots of games could be designed in the way of just I mean, I shouldn't say anything. I'm Kitbashing World War I weird miniatures, but lots of games could be about other incentives than just trying to kill your opponent. Maybe something one reflects a bit more about when kids are involved. And Moonstone is more about collecting the Moonstone than actually trying to slaughter your enemy. And the minis are fun, and there's different like types of factions and characters and all kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll say Moonstone. Daniel says, I get shopping around. I love the kitbashing aspect of the hobby, so finding new games to make things for is a common thing for me as well. Yeah. I sometimes think games are taken too seriously. But okay, I need a gun. I'm wondering, are these arms actually meant to be... How are they holding the guns? I'm a little bit confused about the arms, actually. So that's a right arm. That's a reloading arm. So maybe one of these arms could actually be just holding a rifle and reloading it. Let's try and just snip out a rifle that isn't attached to an arm and see how we go. So the kind of story here is that obviously these are not well supplied troops. They're also sort of weird, you know, worshipping weird gods and stuff. But the whole uniform thing has kind of gone out the window a little bit, and people wear what they can find. They're of the peasant look, medieval peasant look, I should say. I don't know what peasants nowadays look like. I was going to be terribly impolite and say, is that white trash thing, but that would probably make you upset, and so I shouldn't say it. Is that could be holding like a rifle, maybe. So the whole sort of medieval peasant look is a good. We haven't been getting supplies for a long time, kind of a look. Okay, let's try that. Also, it needs the torso glued on. Chris, how are you doing? Liking and subscribing so YouTube knows I like this. Commenting, I mean, I'm already subscribed for a long time now. Yeah. Welcome, Chris. I'm sure the subscription thing is great, but it doesn't seem to work as it did traditionally. For us who've been around YouTube for a while, the whole subscription thing doesn't necessarily mean much anymore, I don't think. But obviously, I adore getting, people should subscribe, obviously. Yes. That's a torso. Now, so heads for these obviously should be gas masked folk, because that's just going to make this look so much better. My plan as well, because obviously these guys and girls, there will be girls as well, aren't getting supplies, then they're also carrying a lot of stuff around. So I like the backpacks thing, and pouches, bags, stuff like that. I also need to make bombs. I think something that looks really fun is like carrying a big bomb around on your back, because you'd normally not do that. But I can imagine these war bands are out scavenging and like, oh, look, here's a bomb. We should bring it home and put it in front of the fire. So I kind of need to make bombs or print bombs. I was in a sort of crafting cheapish. No, come back. Cheapish crafting store looking for beads, because I figured if I had like a sort of elongated kind of shaped bead, obviously in the right size of sort of a miniature bomb, I could just glue on some little kind of wings and make myself a bomb. Unfortunately, I didn't find such a bead. Could also try and make some just in green stuff or something. Or I could be lazy and print them. I haven't really decided. Felix is going to take a look at Moonstone. Cool. Moonstone sounds like a lot of Mordheim, the Warhammer-fied. Yes, I guess. And just more fun when it comes to like the miniatures and the sculpts. It's not taking itself seriously. It's not grimdark. Phil, you should subscribe. Yes, please. Felix was wondering if I considered beads for bombs. Yes, I did. I just haven't found the right beads. Okay, I needed the hand with the ammunition. There's also hands with grenades, which is fun. I think some of the coolest. See, I ordered things up here in my little bits box. These are really cool. These are 3D printed. So this is supposed to be French Foreign Legion, but ye olde Foreign Legion. These are arms. There's some fun. Look, there's a machete. Machetes are fun. Someone holding a shovel. That's fun. There's revolvers for both left and right arm, I think, perhaps, which would be fun. Dual wielding revolvers is good. Now I'm just doing 2 with rifles. And here's lots of heads. There's female First World War-ish heads. There's weird Saint Decent heads. Here's a few weird backpacks. This is the box that I'd like to fill up a bit more, which is the weird accessories box. I was looking at from last stream, I was recommended the Wizard's kit from Frostgrave, because I want weird bits, you know, like voodoo type stuff and books and jewelry and, you know, all kinds of superstitious things. And I was in my local friendly game store, but they didn't have them in store, unfortunately. I think they've got them in stock, like somewhere in a secret place somewhere, but not in store. And I was in an impulsive mood, and so I didn't actually order anything. I just, you know, I didn't get it because they didn't have it in store. But I guess I should look into ordering it. Okay, we have got an arm with reloading things, and so now I just need an arm that fits for holding the gun. Could be that one. Perhaps. Okay, I should let that set a little bit. Let's see if we can. What will it look like with a head on? This first fella. So there he is, menacing peasant. Might get a bit of a difficult time getting that gas mask trunk thingy going. But it's looking suitably weird. Something like that. It's not too shabby. Adrian says, there's a set of turnipy backpacks in the latest Turnip 28 Kickstarter. Perhaps you could ask Max. I think actually I've thought of those. I think I might even have some printed in a cupboard next to me. They're pretty cool. I used one I made a Space Marine diorama, a Turnip 28 Space Marine. If you haven't watched the video, please do. And I used one of those backpacks on that diorama. Daniel says, I imagine Bill from Bill Making Stuff has a few suggestions on, I guess, beads is what you're implying. Yes, he's a bead loving fella. That Bill. So these gas masks are supposed to have, they're included here, the actual filter is something you strap on. Maybe you can have it on the, you're supposed to have it on the front. Can it go on the back? Because it doesn't fit on the front because I put a gun there. It doesn't really fit terribly well. Maybe this fellow has it underneath his tunic. I think we'll go for that. And let's just glue that head on. I'm using plastic cement, sometimes lots of plastic cement. Whoops. And the little tiny head kind of fits like so. It's pretty good. All you need is a First World War helmet with a gas mask on, and Bob's your uncle. Robin says, I'm currently kit bashing my own Trench Crusade force with those exact same French Foreign Legion guys. Yes, they're very cool. The style, like, it's almost Napoleonic, like the trench coat thing happening. Phil says, beautiful painting on that Turnip 28 video. Thank you. Simon says, I had an absolute nightmare attaching those filters. So many snapped straps, dodgy angles. Still a great kit. Yeah, I'm guessing I could just attach the filter bag itself and not use the straps. Okay, is that going to work? This is the guy kind of reloading here. Sorry, you can notice when I'm concentrating because that's when everything goes quiet. Let's glue an arm on. It's just toys. Wait, was it that arm? There's so many arms. Oh dear. Was that the arm? Or was that the arm? What was it? No, that was the arm. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arms to choose from. Let's go for that arm. Okay. And then the gun's going to go sort of like that. Okay. Do your magic glue. Hello, Mark from Montana. Good morning. Sort of should be in the middle of your night, isn't it? The lunch break painter says, this is what I need. A good kit bashing today. Well, it's It's just one of those days, isn't it? Now, for a war transformed, I need, obviously, I kind of need a captain. I think I want to use um, one of those Foreign Legion bodies for that, and maybe dual revolvers. It feels like kind of a captain thing to do. I also need a witch, or sort of, for the English, I could have what's called a knowledgeable person or something like that. Kind of a bit more like an occultist, maybe, than a witch. Don't know what way to go there, really. Daniel says, are you going to make a tank for a war transformed? I think that will come last. I mean, that means I really need to play the game and not just read rules and keep bash miniatures. So once I have troops kind of ready and maybe painted, I can start looking into a tank. Because the problem is, if these troops aren't done until whatever next infatuation I will have, then a tank isn't really worth it. There is plenty of tank rules for war transformed and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I'd like to. I also, because I kind of need to figure out, this is completely different topic, really, but I kind of need to figure out what kind of videos I should be making. Because I'm a little bit all over the place at the moment in terms of what videos are being made. And it kind of shows sometimes, if you look at views, what works and what doesn't work. And that doesn't mean I all of a sudden want to start just doing Space Marine videos. But there's certain concepts, like I've done a few videos where I've mixed things and built dioramas, like mixed scale modeling with Warhammer or whatever, and built little dioramas. That type of videos do really well. You also get into the kind of, I don't know if many of you guys watch sort of more crafting channels, which is essentially, a lot of them do the exact same thing every video. I don't, most YouTubers do that, but a friend of mine, say, Boyle, Hobby Town Time, got lots of great ideas for builds, but the structure and things are different, but the structure of the video is very much the same. It's like you know what you're going to get if you press the video. Mine are never like that. You press the video and you go sort of like, oh, this is not what I expected, which I think is fun. But a lot of people press it and think, oh, this is not what I felt like right now, and stop watching, because maybe they thought they were going to get what they got in the previous video. And that's nice, but it's also something that maybe should be looked at in terms of continuity. Maybe I should have a certain concept that I keep redoing, so that, you know, people can come back and watch the scale modeling versus Warhammer type dioramas, and just keep on doing them more regularly. I don't know, but all these sort of forays into sort of all of a sudden doing a tank for a game that most people have never heard of, or, you know, is fun for you guys that are really into the channel, but on a broader spectrum, it's difficult, you know. And in the end, it does affect a lot of stuff. Like I can make videos that people like and get better food on my table, or I can make videos that not as many people watch and buy cheap food at the supermarket. You know, it actually makes a difference in terms of how I live my life. And so I've been contemplating things like that. So one of the things that I want to do, for instance, is just keep this live stream regular. Feels like a nice start to doing something. People actually get used to what I'm doing. I don't really care if how many people like it, but at least it's like, oh, it's a Tuesday, I can always watch Alex stream and just try and keep that going for a while. With the other stuff, we'll have to see. See, now we've got a reloading peasant. Kind of. Since he's a peasant, you might not actually be sure of how the whole procedure is performed, but at least he's giving it a good try. Phil says Tuesdays did need an upgrade. I agree. Daniel says, I enjoy the calmness of your videos and when you share your thoughts like now. Yes. There are a few of you that don't require ultra synapse affected editing and narration, which I appreciate. Corbin says, I love crafting stuff. It's really about learning much, only so many ways to dry brush after all, but watching people make stuff is my zen. I think that goes for a lot of people. I'm still in that sort of where I try and find, like every video I make where I paint something, I try and find something where I can sort of teach something. Like, this is how I painted this miniature. Here's a trick. And that's one of the things that I have been considering, that maybe it's time to just lay off that and just paint. It's like I built a diorama, and so you can watch me build a diorama, and if you want to pick things up, you can pick things up. But just structuring a video in a way where I try and show people how to paint things a little bit completely alters how videos are made and how I can narrate it and what pieces needs to be in there and what I can skip. You know, it could be just, and then I painted this little soldier and it's painted and I place it in a diorama. And, you know, there's a bit of a balance there, but making the sort of still slightly tutorial-esque stories that I make is kind of picking the most constrained and time-consuming bits of making a video. Like, I do the story and do all the extra filming and stuff for that, but there's also the sort of painting tutorial, and they're difficult to make and take a lot of time. And I've been working hard, and there's a lot of people that appreciate my work, but comparatively to the time spent, you know, YouTube pays me about $500 a month, and I pretty much, the time spent is a full-time job. That's not an equation that works out, you know. Not after trying for so many years. It's not like I haven't put the time in to see what can happen. And the past 2 years have just really been pretty slow. Felix says, for me, your videos have a more philosophical vibe to them. They oftentimes push my boundaries. I appreciate that. Adrian says, I like watching what you're interested in. I like the chopping and changing. I tend to get bored if it's a lot of the same. Come on, Adrian, help me out. I'm trying to find the essence here and just make the money. I'm also moving, by the way. I found a new, I need to leave the bunker. My location has been compromised. And so I found a new spot, which is very promising, but it's out of town, which is a bit annoying. Hey, that works. Look. That one can actually have the gas masky thing. See? Now we just need to find the right head, and hopefully it's not that head. And yeah, I kind of need to sort of move relatively imminently-ish, which I'm just ignoring. But there's one part of tearing all this down, moving it, setting up somewhere else that, that's a hassle in its own right. But trying to do that in a way that means I can make... Oh, I cut it off. I snapped the bag thingy. Are they all the same? I hope so. They're kind of the same. Doing a move without disrupting making videos and work is trickier. Not really sure how that's going to work out. So instead, I'm kitbashing Weird WWI managers. Corvin says YouTube is ludicrously unsustainable right now. I mean, people that do well on YouTube obviously do well. It's like the rest of the world. I think the major thing that's changed is that it's difficult to get the views in, basically. And obviously YouTube wants to stay fresh. So they're probably not going to benefit of having like creators like myself just farting around and not making much noise of how cool it is to be a YouTuber. That other guy says, "Hi, Alex, you already know what I think. As long as you're doing what you like, I would probably enjoy watching it." I appreciate that. I just wish you would clone yourself about 1,000,000 times. Corbin says, "Lead into the parasocial moving vlog time." Yeah. Okay. So I wonder, I should probably find a head that fits before I glue the bag on. Do they all? They should all fit, right? Ah, that's looking lovely. Okay, so look. That sort of goes something sort of like that. I think I need to glue the head on first and then rearrange the bag or something. Not quite sure how that's going to work out. Something like that. Now, isn't that creepy? And then lots of bags on the backs or something, or carrying some weird stuff around. Did I scrape that mold lines on this? There's something weird. Is that an ear or a mold line? Now we will never know because it's gone. Mark says, remaking money, maybe shout more. Yeah. Regarding making money, maybe shout more. Or just try and make my own money. Can that be like a good crafting channel? Forgeries, 52 forgeries. Okay, so the bag is looking a bit weird, but there we are. We've glued it in place, and we'll just have to live with that. Probably I could use with a bit of sprue glue to extend his gas mask. I'll get some sprue glue and I'll show you what I'm doing. I just need to try and glue this thing into place. Okay. I think I've got some sprue glue up here. Oh, there's a miniature on it. This is an old miniature. Look at this. Haven't seen that in a while. This is something I painted ages ago. Imagine making all those chessboard thingy freehand stuff. Hello, Martin. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Niall says lots of opportunity for showing off different techniques. Paper money, plastic money, resin money. Exactly. Bead money. Adrian says there was that artist who drew dollar bills and used them for purchases. The collecting part of the artwork was to buy the transcription from him and get the note from the shop. That's smart. Very artista. So this is sprue glue, which is a glue made from melting sprue and plastic cement, with plastic cement, and you get a goo. This goo is pretty good for filling gaps, stuff like that. So for example, if I was picky, you can see we've got a little hole there. I could use some of that sprue glue and just fill that little hole. And if I want to clean it up, I can just use some of the plastic cement and shape it. It's a really handy tool. When doing stuff like this with plastic miniatures, and I was thinking, because we have this little connection point between the bag and the gas mask there, but it's not really looking very solid. Not that someone will notice from a couple of feet away when playing a game. But I figured if I just add a dollop of sprue glue there, we can sort of just weld that together and it looks a little bit more connected. See? Solid looking. So we've now got this fella and his friend, the Robed brothers. And they now need bags and stuff happening, pouches. So there's lots of nice pouches going here in the kit. And I also had all these spare pouches. One of these big ones is kind of fun to sort of put on like a backpack or something. I want to kind of build a backpack. So let's pouch these fellows up. Before that, I kind of need to go and get more coffee. And while I get coffee, you can still try and figure out where I've stolen this quote from, only at that point of time, it was not about coffee. Sorry, wrong button. There we are. And I'm back. With coffee. Regarding the money, Adrian saying he did get in a lot of trouble with the FBI. Mojo says, I've done a batch of sprue goo with regular acetone. Is plastic cement better? I don't know if there's a difference, honestly. I'm guessing acetone is probably the cheaper option. I like to just use sprue glue because it smells the same. Also, I can do what I just did, like use this little brush and the sprue glue, the plastic cement to shape things. Maybe I could do that if it was with acetone as well, but essentially it's just because I have it around, so I pour a bit of that into another container and dissolve some sprue in it, and I don't really have acetone around, so I don't know if there's a better or a worse. It's probably just different. Anders Johansson says, I for one would like another Warhammer meets scale model video. Don't think I've seen anyone else do it, and if you enjoyed the first one, then go for it. Yeah, I've done two, sort of, and I really enjoy them. The downside is the time they take, I guess, because just building a scale model is a lot of fiddling about. I have at least, I could probably be doing those forever. I just think they're a lot of fun. I definitely have one that I've already got the models for, I think. Maximilian says, I use Tamiya airbrush cleaner. It's the same stuff as the plastic cement, but cheaper. It's good to know. So I can use plastic cement to clean my airbrush then, I guess. Acetone scares the bejesus out of me. I mean, it's just nail polish remover, really, isn't it? That other guy said that was fast, but it's past my bedtime. Good night. Good night, that other guy. I hope you have a pleasant night, not dreaming of squeaky little monsters like this or weird rats that come and haunt you and eat your brains. That would be sad if that happened. Okay, so I need to. I'm actually strangely structured because I've got this little thing which is bits with resin printed stuff. Then I've got this little thing which is where I put the bits that I've cut out. Oh look, here was two arms that I forgot I had. Well, anyway, that are the hard plastic bits, so that I kind of know what goes with what. There we are. Keep your kit bashing in order, folks. Now let's get some bags out. Bags. I think there isn't there like, I don't even know what this is. Can you enlighten me in military affairs? What's this? I have no idea. I wonder if did the peasants have bags and stuff, or they've got the knives, axes, slings, lots and lots and lots of weapon options. Spears, halberd kind of looking things, more spear, lots of spears. No bags. I guess they don't have much to carry around, being peasants and all. Oh yeah, and I was going to try one of these big scale model bags to see if we can sort of make some kind of a backpack-ish thing. And there's lots of lovely little bags. So many bags. These I can't remember. Some of these types of plastic don't work as well with plastic cement for reasons that I'm not entirely sure of. Or maybe different type of plastic cement is required. I'm not sure. Joseph Kilpatrick, good afternoon from Australia. How's the weather up north? The weather is absolutely disastrous up north. I went for a run yesterday. My son goes to the Scouts. And so I dropped him off there, and then I went for a run, and I think after half an hour or whatever, I don't think there wasn't really, my underwear maybe was still dry, but I don't really think so. It was raining so much, which is kind of fine when you're out running, but it gives you an idea of what the weather's like. I just found a gap in one of the arms here that I'm going to tidy up before adding bags. Doing the same thing with the plastic cement. See, there's a bit of an ugly gap as well. So I just dollop on a little bit and shape it. It just flows out really nice. And that's pretty much all one needs to do. Whereas I find with green stuff and stuff like that, there's always a lot of fiddling about. I think I might, I'm not sure. Let's test this sprue. I'm not sure how well sprue goo works. Or plastic cement, I mean. Let's try and see if we can melt it. Not really. See, some of these scale modeling kits, the plastic is different. And kind of doesn't really dissolve much. Yeah, it's sort of dissolving a little bit. It's just sturdier and harder. It is dissolving a little bit though. But not as much as this gray stuff. So I probably should just moisten this up with a bit of sprue goo first, plastic cement first. Just let that work, melt the plastic a little bit. Phil says, time to take the van in to have the wheelchair dock fixed. Just got to put up with a high-pitched alarm wail all the way there. Safety first. Enjoy yourself with at least, you'll be alerted for when the zombies come because of the alarm. E1 says, hey, Alex, I just wanted to say thank you for your recent video on lighting. It inspired me to do something about the poor lighting at my desk, and now I can see again. I'm glad to hear it. It's kind of like one of those things, I don't know, this is an analogy that works for me, but maybe not many other people, but it's kind of funny with a lot of hobbies and stuff like that. It's like the most uninspiring purchases. Look, we have a bag. are kind of the purchases that never get done, and is where people kind of don't feel like investing money. My analogy there is I used to more, but still dabble a little bit with working with in music production, and obviously also sound production for videos and stuff like that. But especially in music production, people with music studios or the intent to record music and stuff like that love spending money on, or wish they could spend money on, expensive microphones and all this gear that it's like that changes the sound, like equalizers and compressors and these cool boxes, racks that you have, and there's needles going everywhere and lights and everything is really cool. Whereas like the absolute most important purchase you could ever do is sound treatment and good speakers. So usually that's where people never go. They just buy the cool things, but they have pretty cheap, speakers and don't really pay attention to sound treatment. And I think that goes for very many hobbies, including ours, where people spend tons of money on really cool paints and miniatures and expensive brushes and all this stuff. But the lights are just, it's just a thing that, it's not fun spending that money on a lamp, whereas it's probably one of the most, I consider, important investments. So this fellow has this really kind of big sack thing, which can then be, I figured I could put one of these things kind of on top. We can also put another bag on the side here, maybe. Why not? Lots of bags are fun. Or maybe one of these. Nah, that's too big. The fun thing would be if there's weird things, something weird going on with the bags, which is kind of what I need to look into, like the weird bits. It'd be fun if there's a book hanging there. Bombs. There should be grenades, actually. I don't know how far we're going to get into sort of heads. Are they collecting scalps? Probably not. But all the attachments really are where things can go weird and fun. It's also kind of how to cover up like this medieval robe thing will look less medieval and more cultist when adding pouches and bags, essentially. Corbin says, perhaps a root vegetable. Yeah, I've got, as was mentioned a bit previously, I do have turnip 28 backpacks. So obviously some of the troops are going to get turnip 28 backpacks. But I think it's one of the fun things with kit bashing is using stuff that's in the kit and just seeing where you can go by putting things in the wrong place, doing things incorrectly, whereas using already incorrect pieces sometimes feels a bit like cheating. So kind of like using turnip backpacks is a really easy way out. But I mean, look at these fellas. It's pretty cool troops. And by the way, if you get, because I've been scraping, and if you don't really get been super well doing it, yeah, that was weird. It's like my language skills went backwards there. Speaking, maybe I've been possessed by something. But I usually clean up by just brushing plastic cement over things like that. And it looks usually nice when done. Anyway. Hello, Isaac. I hope you're doing well. Copra says, I want to thank you for the light video too. As it happens, proper light on my workstation was the first thing I invested in when I started painting about a year ago. But, whoa, I managed to hide the chat somehow. Come back. That was very mature of you, Copra. Alice Johansson says, I did some investigating. Seems like the part of the British sprue that you asked to be identified is a bayonet and some sort of trench tool. Could fit it on the backpack. Good idea. Let's fit them on the backpacks. I also need to look through my Stormcast sprue to see if there's any weird bits there that we can glue on. I kind of enjoy the fact that I can use Stormcast bits as pieces of occultness, you know, essentially, since it's a bit of a nod to my my Stormcast army, I guess. That is not getting much action anymore. All right, let's try and get this glued in. Whoa, that's way too much. I'm actually using sprue goo here as glue because sort of instances like this, where I'm not really sure about connection points, I guess this is going to go on top of that. Using the sprue goo means I get a nice sort of blob of glue that'll flow out and just create a solid mass behind there. It's a fun little weird backpack hanging out of nowhere. Oh, and there's some mold lines I forgot to scrape. We'll erase them with glue. So we need some of those bayonet thingies then. Where are they? Here we are. Bayonet thing. They might as well get. What else have we got? Oh, that should be it. There's grenades. Kind of want to keep the grenades to be able to put them in hands as things to throw around. I've kind of been trying to look into if I can go to Salute this year, as I did last year. And I was kind of intent on going, but now, as I have to move from the bunker, moving an office is not usually done cheaply. One thing is just the move in itself, like, but it's more about setting the new place up, buying whatever will be needed to make that work, like shelves, paint, furniture, if needed, stuff like that. So now I'm not so sure anymore. It would be fun, but maybe not possible. Hello, Ian. Good morning. Isaac says, I had a great time bashing these kits for Trench Crusade. World War I has a morbid charm no matter what system we play. I agree. I guess the symbols have become so strong after seeing so much terrible warning examples of what humankind is capable of, that there's something that sort of resonates. Just, and I mean, it feels weird saying it, but it also turns into popular culture through movies and stuff like that. But there's a symbolism in all of this that probably strikes home. Which then, as I talked about a little bit before in last stream, as with Trench Crusade, combine that with other symbolism like Christianity and stuff, and you have a double whammy, which I kind of feel is cheating, but that's a lot of pouches. I like it. Okay, more pouches. So I'm curious to look into the German box. I haven't actually even opened. I probably opened it, but I haven't really looked at the sprue. But it's kind of fun to just take this bit by bit. Look, there's another pouch on the pouch. I should check I think I've got a bits box for Stormcast stuff over there. I'm going to grab that. Ian says, currently working on a Scabs boat with a single gun and crew from Bolt Action, World War II German paratroopers. I know what Scabs is, but I've never sort of looked into it properly. I'm just going to get a box of sprue or a box of bits. So this is, I think this is predominantly heads, maybe. This is all kinds of it's actually mixed sort of Warhammer bits. There's Stormcast heads. Chainmail is obviously, that's a fun bit. I should take that out. Don't know if I can use it on these guys, but chainmail is obviously great for this kind of weird World War I kit bashing. Don't even know who that is. Some lady's coat. There's a dead head. That's suitably weird. Maybe we should have some dead heads going. Nurgle symbolism, maybe not. Old piece of a shield. Lots and lots of bits. It's some scrolls, but that's going to be, this is a tricky piece to try and kitbash. Better find some other kind of scrolls. Helmets, no. Okay, let's have a look in the other box. It's a big gun. It's kind of fun to compare the sort of there's a Stormcast gun, there's a World War I gun. Yeah, remember I was talking about heroic and true scale. We're also sort of looking at 28mm, and this is probably 32, and they're supposed to be almost like giants, but this is a nice piece of relic stuff. It could be used in the future. Rope with hatchet thingy. Could be an anchor. You know, why not carry an anchor around? There's a lot of Stormcast bits. There's a very big bird. And some kind of bird dog. There's nothing really sort of super weird in here. It's all just shiny looking. Probably leave that for now. And I wonder if I can get any of this chainmail on, or if I should save it for my witch or captain. Kind of feels like it might be a bit tricky to get onto these miniatures. I mean, I could stick that piece of chainmail, could be dangling down underneath that backpack, but it's also just a little bit of a waste. It could be used to greater good, I think. Whoops. This is a really, really big anchor. Could be kind of a fun, weird thing that we might or might not use. Then there's the head. The head could definitely be a thing. Let's see if we can get the head out. Plastic pants factories. Those Warlord Fallschirmjäger sprues are nice, but that may be my bias speaking. That's all sort of Second World War stuff, right? Ian says, I changed the heads to include gas masks and hoods, rather like the Turnip 28 ones. Yeah, I mean, just adding gas masks to anything, really, and you're kind of safe. You can just pretty much pick any, just grab a Viking kit and just put gas masks on them, and things are fine. Pai says, have you ever considered Necropolis 28? A great little game with undead. I have not. I'm completely uninformed on the subject, to be honest. Never checked it out. I guess I'll have to at some point. See, now I'm thinking, should I really be using these nice bits on just regular troops, or should they be saved for things? But I think one of the issues of saving stuff is you never use the stuff you've got. And if you use the stuff that you have, then when you need something in the future that potentially, you could have saved bits for, instead you think of new solutions. And so I'm not really a big fan of saving stuff for the future. Might as well make what's cool now and then not worry about the future, because otherwise you might get bored when you think, oh, I should just only use this cool piece for my captain or whatever, or I should only use this, whatever it could be, for something special. Then kind of I feel like I'm digging myself a hole if I do that kind of stuff, because I should be having fun now. The fact that I'm just doing the hobby now is pretty much all that matters. And so this fella is going to get a weird head dangling from his belt. I see no other option. Same with painting. I know that's even more difficult, but you can get sort of kits or miniatures that you're like, no, I don't want to paint this now because I'm afraid I'll ruin it or whatever. Which is kind of like, I know some of these things are expensive, but they should be used and not put away on shelves just because you might potentially ruin it. And then maybe a bayonet just to cover that up a little bit. And we're getting pretty pouched up. I've got pliers. Is this called pliers? Maybe. Whoops. Okay, I should let the head set before I move on, and we can see what we can do with the pouch situation on this fella. Plastic Panzer Factory says, it may have taken me a while, but I finally finished my first Silver Bayonet warband after your video introducing it years ago. You're ahead of me. Too many games to play. I concur. I have a plan for Silver Bayonet. We kind of got a little bit shattered yesterday, but that's not something I can talk about, unfortunately, which makes what I just said weird. But I might still go ahead with the Silver Bayonet thing. But yeah, I definitely want to get warbands for that. Ian says, I tend to pick up random sprues when they come with magazines for parts towards and other models and projects. What magazines, Ian? Hello, Amara. Hello again. I'm working on some French tanks, which I use for War Transformed, and others as well. Where do you find the tanks? I'm curious. What kind of kits are they? I need more weird bits. There should be more weird bits kits. Just random things. This is just rats. There's like shovels and stuff, but a really big canteen. Actually, he bought a very big canteen. It's more like I want ropes, chainmail, books, that kind of stuff. I should probably try and find more of that kind of stuff if I can print it, or if there's kits I can buy. I need to get a closer look at that. But also kind of feels a little bit weird buying like the Wizard's kit for Frostgrave just for like 3 books and a couple of necklaces or whatever. I've been trying to look at whatever sort of Space Marine-ish I've got. There's stuff that can be used as weird bits, but I can't really see much. Okay, so I guess we should put, because this is looking good, but it's not. It's looking very structured and organized, apart from the head, perhaps. I think what is missing is maybe weapons and weirder weapons. I'm going to have a look at the Conquistadors kit, see what they've got going for them. There's drums. These maybe not so much here for that. I mean, obviously this is going to look really fun with German heads on. That's for sure. There's no muskets without hands on, which is a bit of a shame. Like in the First and Second World War kits, there's weapons and muskets without hands attached. Everything here has got hands attached. All the crossbows have got hands attached. There's a drum. But not really any bits. And same kind of goes for these peasants. It'd be fun with just some axes and swords and pikes. Maybe I can just chop pikes off to make them a bit more sort of just machete looking. We'll have to do that, because I need more weird weapon bits. So, for instance, we've got these halberdy things. Now, if it would be fun to have the entire thing. Maybe I could scrape that arm off. Let's see. if we just try and cut as much of that hand off as possible, then scrape it with a knife, and then, as soon as you get this kind of stuff going, then all of a sudden things turn more weird, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. Anders Johan says Warlord sells a Renault, so that's a French tank, which is for the First World War. Otherwise, it's slim pickings. Hello Amara says Rubicon, I think, also sells 28mm tanks. Yeah, there's very little First World War stuff about. Obviously, Second World War stuff, there is more. I'm guessing you should be able to look at scale models. Is Marky still around? I get confused with scales because it's the one to... I used a tank. Sorry, I'll just go look at the scale of the tank. Okay, so this one, which is 1/48th scale, kind of feels like it sort of most suitably translates into 28mm. I don't know why I have empty sprue in here. That's kind of unnecessary because I built this kit. There's nothing on here apart from a man. I mean, if we compare the man, it's not great. Like this is a 1/48th man from that kit, and here is the 28 scale, 28mm scale First World War man. So it's slightly larger, but I'm thinking with, I'm sorry, I'm not fully centered. We're still sort of in an acceptable realm, I'm thinking, if you're looking at vehicles. Then again, I don't know how many 1/48th scale First World War tanks there's about. But hopefully there's more than there is in like the gaming side that we come from. But I don't know. Austin says, really nice to have your stream on while I'm making game assets. Well, I appreciate it. It's different with these streams. Like sometimes in the past, I've only done streams where I basically just sit and talk. And there's the type of stream obviously dictates the viewer. So usually streams that are like this, when I just sit and hobby, that's usually what everyone else is doing as well. Like everyone around me or watching is doing something other than just engaging with the stream, which means that at times it feels a little bit quiet in the chat front, especially because of the time of day. There's not really many that can join into these streams, but that doesn't really matter. But because I sit and do things and everyone else sits and does things, and it's not always easy to know what am I supposed to be talking about right now, because no one is writing anything in the chat. But I'm trying to get over that fact, and simply by kitbashing. Okay, let's glue in the thing with these is, this should have sort of straps on, but I'm not really there yet with my sculpting skills to be making like straps of green stuff or whatever. It was a bit messy. See if I can clean that up. And then if I can just clean up the entire thing. There we are. That's a bit more Weird World War One-ish. As soon as we start adding strange implements like that, would be nice with some straps going there. I'll have to ponder that. I want to find a similar kind of weapon thing for the other fella. Some kind of weapon. What have I got in here? Hollow the Wise Wolf says, I'm happy I get to make it to the stream at all this new stream time. Very Australian friendly. That's true. That's very much a bonus for everyone on that side of the planet. I talked about this in the previous stream. I tried to stream regularly before. It just never works out because optimal time to stream is usually weekends, and because I'm in Sweden, then that means like best way to get views is maybe whenever the US has woken up, which means it needs to be in my afternoon or evening, and I'm not the kind of person that can just say that, well, at 4 o'clock my time every Saturday or Sunday I'll stream. It's like, for one thing, my son wouldn't really allow it. Secondly, there's usually other things happening in my life that means I can't. I'm not a regular kind of a person. I don't do things regularly. And so I figured the only way I can actually do this is by doing it during a weekday, which, technically my work time, where I should be doing my job or making videos for the channel, which is, I guess, my job as well. And at a time that doesn't inflict too many problems with the rest of the day. And here we are on a time that is probably one of the worst times to stream on when it comes to being available to most. But it's better than nothing. And the bonus is people living ahead of time, which is like Asia and Australia and so forth. Austin says, have you chosen a faction for Trench Crusade? No, I haven't. I'm doing sort of generic World War One kit bashing here. That should be able to work for several, I'm not going to say similar style games because they're all a little bit different, but there's several games out there that have the theme of a weird World War One. Obviously, Trench Crusade is more fantastical. There is, monsters from hell and stuff. There's other weird World War One games that are a little bit more conservative, I guess, in terms of looks. I'm going maybe for one that is closer to the historical, but the whole point is that I want the miniatures to be able to suit any game. Now, as I'm going for kind of, troops that look like this, and that don't look like the spawn of hell or Islamic type thing, then obviously, there's certain factions, or maybe a certain faction in Trench Crusade that this would suit more. But where is he going to keep his axe? Just like that? No. Is that an axe in your pocket? Are you just happy to see me? Kind of only know where to put the axe. Doesn't really fit. Maybe that shouldn't be an axe. Maybe there should be a knife. Do I have a knife? I'll say the axe for someone else. See, there's some knives here at least. You can get a knife. Across the bottom like a trench shovel looks cool. Yeah, it did. Or goofy bayonet. That's actually a good idea. Where is the axe? Okay, maybe we kind of need to do that. Let's see how we can do that best. So if we chop off the bayonet and put the axe there instead. I'm wondering if I need to kind of pin that, but let's remove that end of the bayonet. And remove that piece of the axe. Didn't really scrape that. There we are. Then that needs to go there. Question is if glue will be enough or if I should pin it. Let's just hope for the best with some glue. I'm just going to soften up the plastic first of the bits with a bit of plastic cement, then add a little blob of sprue glue, and put my hand in a really awkward position. There we are. Great idea. Thank you very much. Pretty good looking. I still cut out a knife here that he should be getting for his backpack, I think. I like this, the sort of scavenger vibe. I think that's going to be the sort of overall. Whoops! Don't ruin the axe, Alex. Overall theme is scavenger thingy. I did have some more bags here that should really get used, because anything else would be shameful. They're just lying around, so they might as well get glued on. Don't really know how they fit though. They're really big, stupid bags. No. Okay, maybe not. I thought I saw some really small. I need really small bags. I really like the pouches like these. I'll show you in a bit. I just need to check what works here. Not really, but maybe if I divide this. I really like, if we have a look at this torso here, is from the proper sort of First World War kit. All these little pouches, all that stuff is really great. I'd kind of like something a little bit more similar going with these fellas. You know, I feel I need pouches here. This is now turning into one of those quiet streams where I'm more interested in finding pouches than being entertaining. I'm not sure that's good. But look, here's lots of little pouches. I'm just gonna see. This is from the 1/35th scale soldiers, but there's tons of little pouches here. I can just cut them out individually and place them individually all over the place. There we are. I really should start looking through as well. I know for War Transformed at least, every faction you basically have regular troops. They have the same stats. You're sort of entitled to take almost as many as you want. And then the special troops, the special troops for each faction, like different types of tanks, maybe some special machine gun or flamethrower or whatever. Also different supernatural beings, I guess. But eventually I'm going to have to figure out what it is I am kitbashing. I'm guessing this is all just regular troops. Admittedly, only 3 so far. But okay, I'm just gonna go for it, and I'm going to add some sprue goo. And then just stick some bags onto that. But yeah, eventually I'll need to figure out what it is I'm actually building, you know. There we are. Lots of little bags, more little bags. it'd also be fun to try and kitbash something maybe a bit more specific at some point. Not necessarily specific for any game, but doing something like a a procession, people holding up a shrine with some weird statue on it, or something a bit more cinematic and storytelling that I guess in retrospect one has to figure out, what is this? But it's kind of fun to just have that, do that kind of kitbashing where everything isn't necessarily like, oh, this is a trooper with a gun. Here's another trooper with a gun. Do something a bit more fantastical. Would be really fun. I'm still searching for... Conquistadors had no bags. What did they carry around their stuff in? Like they traveled all the way from Spain and not a single bag. It's very strange. It's like, what should we bring? Bring the drum and the trumpet, but not your keepsakes. Pretty much feel like I've used up all these bags. What happened to that gas masks thing? I'll cut another one out. Can if there's a responsible miniatures making company watching this stream, can you please produce a sprue with half of it needs to be bags, pouches, stuff like that. The other half needs to be just weird things like occult memorabilia and books and scrolls, parchments, voodoo dolls, all that kind of goodness. I lost that bag forever, I think. No, I can see it. This is now a blessed bag because it was found off the floor and it needs to be used. How zealous are they in their religion? I mean, if we look at a war transformed, everyone all of a sudden is very keen on being nice to the gods, because essentially they are now living real beings that have returned. So if you don't actually worship them, then your life probably will be shorter. That tends to make people pretty zealous. And I guess in Trench Crusade, pretty much the same thing is happening, isn't it? There is an actual heaven and hell in that game. Thomas says, for the occult bits, you could have a look at Frostgrave Wizards. Yeah. And occultists. I have been doing that. I was going to sort of impulse buy the Wizards last time I was at my local friendly game store, but they didn't have that in store at that point in time. And then in retrospect, I felt a little bit weird just because, I don't know, buying an entire kit just for a couple of books or whatever. but I guess I'll have to do that. There's some fun heads as well that could be used, obviously. And I especially was thinking of maybe the 2 sets. I think that's pretty cool with both all the Frostgrave stuff and Stargrave stuff. There's like wizards, and then there's wizards 2. The 2 is females, and I think that goes for a lot of there's like cultists and cultists 2 kind of a thing. Don't quote me, but there's a lot of that stuff going. So there's a lot of options for female sculpts, which is, I don't see why everyone isn't just doing that with everything. There's another little bag. We've got quite a lot of bags going. I'm going to see, I got some spare straps that I cut off. See if I can just get those straps in here somehow. And then I think this trooper is probably done. And I think this trooper is maybe in need of a little pouch thing there or something. But otherwise, we've got 2 pretty good-looking troops with lots of bags, and that axe there is a pretty good streak of genius. It would be nice with some kind of a strap thing going here. That I still need to figure out if I should bother that much with detail, but it is kind of my thing to be bothering with detail. Still got a few bags. Bit of chainmail would be cool. Okay, he's going to get a really big bag. I'm just going for it. These 2 guys like bags. That's just the way it is. I should maybe get some kits with more chainmail. It is possible to. I have like a chainmail plate that I can squeeze green stuff into and kind of hopefully get chainmail coming out the other end. But I just find it really difficult to handle, and not just getting all that, like actually getting the green stuff off of the plate kind of means I need to use some kind of sculptor's Vaseline or something like that, which means all the bits all of a sudden have lots of Vaseline on them, and yeah. Okay, lots of big bags all over the place. Why is that bit there? Don't know. Gone. I'm going to have to count that fellow as done because there's almost no more space for anything. And the question is, what can I do? Can I get actually glue without losing? Like whoops, gone. See what I was trying to do there? Trying to get some of these tiny straps. Maybe that's something I need to leave from off stream. Not that this stream is that exciting, but fiddling with straps is like, especially when you lose them, probably fell down into the sprue goo. There's one more bag here. There's also one of these trench things. Okay, I'll just glue that on as well. More stuff for my scavenger friends. I love that the other fellow has like one of these bayonet holder things, but then decided to go for the axe option instead. There we are. Lots of bags. What's left? One more bag. We're doing one last bag. Is that one bag too many? I think maybe it is. Okay. We're going to be done. We're done. Here's Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Medieval peasants / First World War scavenger troops can now join their friend with the scythe and the holy box thing on its back, and go out and play in the mud. Whoops, spilling bits everywhere. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Daniel Conway, for the looking good. I appreciate it. I believe this stream has now come to an end. I've actually been going for 2.5 hours, which is half an hour too long. I blame the bags. At least I've found a theme, which is bags. Definitely need to look into bombs. I can glue some grenades on there. There is grenades. Anyway, I need more bombs and occult bits. So I'm going to look into the frost grave bits, I guess. Kind of don't feel like buying a kit just for a few little bits, but maybe if I use the heads, maybe even some of the bodies, it might be worth it. Thank you very much for joining into this live stream. It's been great to have some company while working on my Weird World War I bits. I hope to see you in the next one, same time, Tuesday next week. Bye.